So now I just wanted to take a little bit of time just to look at specifically some customer success stories. Are we doing okay for time?
Yeah, 10:04.
Good. And I'm happy to answer any questions here. So this is the grid of Norway, Statnett. It's been a customer for a long time, 2001. And when they selected IFS back in 2001, they were using our solution just for operations and maintenance, just for repair and just understanding things that were going wrong in the grid for the whole country. Yeah, so it's a big organisation. Since that time, there has been considerable investment into the grid in Norway. So now they have interconnectors. I don't know, there's no interconnector to here, I don't think. Is there any cables that come across from Norway to here feeding power? And I mean, I know they come across to other parts of mainland Europe. They're sending them across to us in the UK as well. So the emphasis of the project has moved from operations and maintenance to projects and infrastructure. And the greater use of the application that they have now is in that better quality and planning and execution. When we sold this project, there was already an integration to Esri GIS. And, the comment that's made by Arve here that, the project was completed to time, to budget, and that for them was very critically important. This customer has recently upgraded. They're on Apps 8. And during their time with IFS, they have upgraded many times. They have taken advantage of new functionality. They have influenced the product. Statnett are representative on my advisory council. I run an advisory council. We meet face-to-face at least once a year, sometimes twice. And we tell them, the advisory council, what we are doing. And then as a group of customers, they talk and feedback what they think is important here as well. So that's good for us. The PG&IG Termica was actually the host for the advisory council this year. So we went to their facilities in Poland, just outside Warsaw, and we had a tour of the plant, and we also talked about some of the things that they had done. Because Darius here is very positive. It has allowed him to optimize his processes. They are the largest producer of combined heat and power. And they have been able to implement significant benefits around automation of processes. So some of the features that you've got in IFS allow you to better manage workflow, better manage automation, so that's important for them as well. Document management, very important. They've managed to move all of their documentation from different disparate systems onto IFS, so that's important. Eltel is a big networks organisation in sort of Scandinavia. Large number of users, somewhere in the region of just over 1,500. Again, big. What is common to a lot of these customers is that their business has grown. That's another interesting statistic about IFS. I can't think of the real numbers, but most of the companies that we have worked with, their business has grown in the time that they have been working and that they have actually had the application. So they've got service engineers that are going out, looking after the infrastructure. Again, a very, very sort of positive company. Infratech, very similar to Eltel, but a little bit more of a focus on things like RAL, power, security. Smart meters. Do we have any smart meters here? Everywhere or domestically? Do you have one in your house, sir? Okay, so we are quite advanced in the smart meter program, are we? I apologise. I should probably know where you are. I don't. So do you have them for electricity, gas?
For electricity, no yet, but there will be a pilot project as well in Lithuania, but it will involve only like 3,000 smart meters in the first stage. With energy, we do have.
Okay. In some countries around the world, obviously, are a little bit more advanced in the smart program than others. We, in the UK, we're a little bit behind, but I think there is a target. I guess, you know, as members of the European Union, you've probably signed up to the same target to have your whole country done by 2020. What we're finding, certainly in the UK, is that there is a real now move towards smart infrastructure rollout and smart meter rollout. And thus, what you're looking for is the ability to control a workforce, either your own or subcontract workforce, and manage stock, managing issuing materials, returning materials, people in vans going around carrying out this work. So we've got a very good story there around infrastructure. Babcock is a huge project in the UK and globally. This is a big project management company. I've worked for them over the years. You know, they build huge facilities. These are new aircraft carriers that they're building. They're involved in running facilities. They're involved in managing nuclear power stations and overhauling facilities and those sort of things. So a very good reference customer for projects and asset management. We have a number of customers in road and rail and infrastructure. This is a customer in France that is building transportation infrastructure. Again, another excellent reference for us, a relatively new customer, only signed in 2012, but you can see the whole area of the application that they are running. We have mining customers, big mining operation in the UK, so we have lots of huge plant that is maintained. Again, you can see typically that they're using a lot of the application. Steel manufacturing, only using EAM in all of their steel facilities. So again, linked into production. And just the final case study, I just wanted to mention about something that we did in China. So we had a new power station being built, and they approached IFS and they purchased the application for maintenance management, and they implemented this at the same time as building the facility. You know, it's a huge facility. It's coal-fired. And what we did was we sold them this operational intelligence module, and within less than 30 days, we were able to implement a full mapping at a high level, full mapping of their organisation. So that's the first thing that you do with this tool. You map their process, the inputs, the actual processes that they go through, the results that they're looking for, you know, the categories of results, and the, I think this stands for stakeholders, the sort of stakeholders that are looking for value from this organisation. And what you end up with is a, you know, all of the KPI information. This is what's represented here. All of the graph information. So it's a sort of operational intelligence out-the-box solution for power generation. And more importantly, this screen here was a feature that you've got within this tool that allows you to simulate changes to inputs and values. So for them, they had, for example, what the selling price of power was, what raw material costs were, total labour costs. All of those things were variables, and what they could do is they could either use the actuals from the application, use budget information from the application, or they could slide these values around and sort of do a sort of what-if type simulation. And that process looks quite simple. It was something that they did maybe once or twice a year previously. Lots of spreadsheets, lots of complex algorithms within the spreadsheets. Now they can do it all in the tool, real time if they want, as many times as they want. And for them, that was a huge, huge, huge success. So you know, this, if you remember from my brief introduction, was the recent acquisition that we made. Okay, so just finally wrapping up. I mentioned that we only focus on selected industries, and you know, I'm assuming everybody in here has a space or a foot in one or many of these industries, whether we're in retail and processing, pharmaceutical, manufacturing, asset intensive. You know, we are clearly, as an organisation, focused on all of those. I touched on the fact that the way that we're growing our business is through the partner network. Effecto are a partner. You know, this is the way in which IFS will grow now. We have some fantastic examples of deployments that are going on in the cloud, if that is an option. And you know, we recognise, and I think that the point was made very much in the introduction, that the world is changing. You know, we are here as an organisation to help you in that changing world. So, you know, whether we're global, so we've got an example of here, 21 sites around the world in under 4 years. I know that Saab, in their sort of manufacturing and aerospace division, they originally bought us for a manufacturing solution, but have then increased the scope. Again, there are good white papers and customer stories on Saab. I think Saab went from, maybe 50, 60, 100 systems down to much fewer. I'm not suggesting they went to one system, but it's a recognised, I think there's a video where the gentleman talks about how they've gone from a large number of systems down to one. And then, just very briefly, Internet of Things, that was touched on. You know, one of the pieces of work that we have done with the Internet of Things is how can we operationalize the Internet of Things? There is going to be a prevalence of lots of devices, machines all connected up to the Internet. What do you do with that information? Well, we've been doing some work with a transportation customer in Norway, and the work that we have done with them has led to more trams on the road, which is the important thing. It's not about understanding, the story is around the doors closing and measuring the time that it takes for the doors to close and analysing that. And if you notice it's starting to slow down, then you can accurately predict when you might need to do the maintenance. That's pretty simple, but if we can do the maintenance before the thing breaks down, we can put more trains on the track. And we're doing all of that through the cloud together with SporVN and sort of Microsoft. So, just to finally finish up on a reminder of all of those customers, and I think I've just about run over a little bit.